Welcome back to the evolution of horror. My name is Mike Munter, and as ever, I am your host. In this podcast, usually we explore and dissect the history and the evolution of the horror genre, one subgenre at a time. However, this week we're taking a little break from that. You can probably hear in my voice, it's been a long October. October has finally finished. We hosted around 14 live shows around the country in several different cities and venues, some incredible audiences, some incredible panelists, and we finished October with a little live show in London, our first ever full 60-minute live show. And so I thought this week we're going to take a little break from the Home Invasion series for you guys to listen to that. We were at the Old Red Lion Theatre in London, and I was joined on stage by Stevie, Webb, Becky, Darke and Brad Hanson. The four of us had an incredible night. We hosted a live podcast to a sold-out audience, and you'll hear it, but instead of having one particular film to talk about, this time we talked about a range of different topics, and we played a little game of Horror Room 101. So I really hope you guys enjoy listening to this. As usual with live shows, the sound quality isn't the best. It's a little bit up and down. Hopefully I've cleaned it up enough for you guys to be able to enjoy it. There are also some audience participations, and there's something very, very special that happens in the last 5 minutes of this live show. So please do keep listening till the very end. So please enjoy our Evolution of Horror live Halloween special. Welcome to the Evolution of Horror live. So for people listening, we are sat right now at the wonderful Old Red Lion Theatre in London, and I'm joined on stage by Stevie, Webb, Becky, Darke, Brad Hanson. Hi guys.
What's up? Hello.
We need to start off by talking about the costumes because they're absolutely incredible. I'm here dressed as Chucky, but this was a bit of a last minute bought from a shop because I knew that my three co-hosts were going to make some incredible efforts. Stevie, I need to come to you first because you look fucking terrifying. Tell us a little bit about your costume, the prep, the choices you made.
So, I have coulrophobia, and I'm sure most of you know that is fear of clowns. I'm trying to do a bit of evasion. Evasion, is that the right word? Thank you.
Exposure.
But then I realised I don't have to look at myself, and I share coulrophobia with my lovely friend Becky. And I did say to Becky, listen, if I come as a scary clown, how will you feel about it? And she said, well, the scarier the better, because like me, we think, grown men who just put on makeup and hang around kids, that's just wrong. But scary clowns that are meant to be scary, she said it would be okay. So I threw this together.
So it's probably fine, right?
I am going to tell you right now, it is not okay. It is not okay. You are resplendent but terrifying.
Yay!
Becky, well done. Well done for being here and sitting next to Stevie now.
I'm trying to be very grown up.
Because you are also, as Stevie mentioned, you are clown-phobic, coulrophobic, right? Does it make you question Stevie's phobia?
You know it makes me question because I've messaged you privately saying that his coulrophobia is absolute bullshit. Because look at him.
But to be fair, he doesn't have to look at himself.
No, well,
exactly.
exactly.
You look incredible, though.
Thanks.
Tell us a little bit about your costume.
I'm Slutty Saw. I've gone for the mashup of Billy and Jigsaw Killer, but I've slutted it up because it's Halloween. So
incredible.
Thank you.
Love that.
Thank you.
You've recently just binged all of the Saw movies, right? As well, didn't you come to a lot of the sequels fairly recently?
Yeah, I because we were going to go and see Saw 10, Saw X,
which we did.
That went well.
And so I'd only seen 1 to 3, I think. So I was like, fine, I'll binge them. Turned out to be one of the best decisions of my life. It's basically like EastEnders, but with gore.
Yes.
It's absolutely phenomenal. And while I was watching, so this cape was made by my auntie in literally the 1970s and belonged to my mum. And my auntie found it in her attic and was like, I'm going to donate it to you. And she had it taken up for me because I'm very, very short. And this is the first time I've ever worn it. And so I'm Jigsaw. Oh, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. It's absolutely incredible. Now, Bradley
Hanson.
This is a work of art. Tell us a bit about your costume.
Well, I'm Gabriel from 'Malignant.
Yeah.
How hot are you?
I am so fucking hot. I'm bloody Dave Grohl from Studio 666. That wonderful picture.
No.
Yeah, I didn't really think this one through. I'll be honest with you.
Well, do you know what though? It's so impressive. Did you actually make I'm trying to, how do I even describe this to people listening to this as a podcast right now? You've got like a face on the back of your head.
Spoiler. If you didn't see it, sorry, it's there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're being like the demonic face that comes out. Well, not demonic, but you know what I mean. The bat face.
The sassy
Gabriel.
one. Yeah. The sassy one around the back. Yeah.
Incredible. And it's framed in a kind of orifice, isn't it?
As I normally am.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Very kind of you.
And Mike, tell us about what you're wearing.
Well, like I said, I panicked and had to go to a shop and buy a Chucky costume at the last minute. But I am Chucky, and my beautiful wife is somewhere in the audience, also dressed as Tiffany as well.
Looking absolutely incredible.
Looking incredible, exactly, yeah.
What a panel. This is we're the loose women of horror.
I like that. And it's going to be just as kind of unstructured and chaotic, I think. So we're going to do it, we're going to have a few little things to go through over the next hour or so. We would love to obviously we can pass mics out to the audience as well, and we'd love to hear from audience members throughout this whole discussion. But I want to start, obviously it's Halloween. We are a kind of film discussion podcast. I need to ask you guys, what are your kind of big Halloween recommendations? What films do you love to watch at this spooky time of year? That isn't, by the way, Halloween 1978. Let's maybe pick something other than that. Stevie, what's your kind of big recommendation for Halloween?
I think something that I come back to, if not every Halloween, every couple of Halloweens, is probably 1988's Night of the Demons, Kevin and Tenny.
Yeah.
Because Tenny had such an incredible run with Witchboard and Night of the Demons and The Cellar. And I come to it pretty most years because if there's something about, and personally 1988 is the pinnacle of sort of trashy horror.
Yeah, the kind of horror Stevie Webb looks,
yeah, exactly.
Right?
1988 is a big of it. But also it just encapsulates the time because it's really bad in terms of acting and plot holes and things like that. And so, but these are
it's like writing, acting, filmmaking.
No, it is. And anything nowadays that was made with any of these problems, we'd hate it and we wouldn't give up until it was burnt and taken off every possible platform. But there's something about the time then when it was okay, like Linnea Quigley's in it, and she's a queen, she's an absolute star, she's one of my favourite 80s heroes. Yeah. Has she ever delivered a sentence of dialogue believably or acceptably? No. No, but it doesn't matter because there's something about the time, it feels very cartoon, and also it's one of the best 80s villains. Angela was created in that and then went on to make 2 more sequels, not the Shannon Elizabeth one in the 2000s, but and so it's ridiculous fun, it's incredible practical effects, and it really is for me pinnacle of the 80s sort of shock horror.
Incredible, love that. Becky, what about you? What's your traditional go-to Halloween watch?
It's my favourite horror of all time. It's The Omen. I watch it every single Halloween without fail. I've been on holiday in Iceland and had to find it on YouTube to watch it.
So we've talked about this together.
We've talked about The Omen,
but just remind people why is The Omen your all-time favourite?
It's quality horror in terms of it's got Gregory Peck in it and David Warner. It's the original creepy kid film. Damien is he's the Antichrist and he is he's such a little cunt. But it's the kills are phenomenal. All of the deaths are amazing. With the lightning rod going through the priest. and David Warner's decapitation and the nanny hanging herself off of the side. It's all for you. Like, everything about it is... Oh, and also, we grew up, me and Brad.
Yeah, we did.
Grew up in the home counties. And part of it is filmed at Guildford Cathedral, G-Town.
G-Town.
So it's like, it was one of those things, G-Town. When I was a kid and I was like 10 and first watching The Omen for the first time, and I realised that I was a creepy little sod and I loved, you know, the darker side of pop culture, and I was starting to dip my toe into horror. And then all of a sudden I realised that horror was happening like literally 20 minutes up the road and just down the road from my nan's house.
Incredible.
And it absolutely transformed me. And I watch it literally every year. I watched it today before I came.
You did?
Yeah, I watched it today. I watched it today.
Love that. Incredible. And maybe before we go on to Brad, maybe we should fill people in on this backstory of Brad and Becky.
How many times
Again,
we have
everybody knows.
milked that cow to death.
I don't reckon everyone here knows, but you two, like, you knew each other, it turned out, right? When the podcast started, Becky, you said to me, right? You were like, I think I know Brad Hanson, when we started kind of making the podcast and when me and you first met. Tell us a little bit about this story.
Okay. So, when I was a 16-year-old, I used to babysit with my friend Sam Foster, and we used to babysit this kid when he was like 13 and his little sister was 10, and actually we were kind of babysitting the 10-year-old rather than 13-year-old, but he wasn't old enough to babysit the 10-year-old, and so we babysat and we were 16. And then all of these years later, started following the podcast, and there was this guy called Brad Hanson, and I looked him up on Facebook, and he had this mutual friend with my friend Sam Foster from school, and she is not a horror fan. And I was like, how the hell are these two friends on Facebook? This is the most random thing ever. And so I messaged her and I was like, how do you know this guy called Brad Hanson? And she was like, that's Brad who we used to babysit.
Incredible. Brad, did you recall this when you met Becky in the world of horror?
No.
Did you remember, this is my babysitter?
No, it ruined my entire fucking life. I'll be honest with you. I thought I was the biggest shit in town because she comes up to me and goes, are you Brad Hanson? I'm like, yeah, what's up? Yeah. And she's like, I used to babysit you. And I had a distinct flashback of when I tried to show off in front of the two of them, did a flip over the sofa and my little dick fell out and they laughed.
Needless to say, I have pushed this down into my
remember
subconscious and turned it into tumours.
I will never forget it. That's why I'm a never nude.
Incredible. There you go. I just wanted to fill everyone in on that backstory.
Thanks, Mike.
They say everyone knows it, but I'm not sure everyone did they? So there you go. Anyway, Bradley, tell us your Halloween recommendation.
Well, it's something of a babysitter. It's not really. The thing that I chose was initially going to be actually Night of the Demons. So that's the Mates of Hell connection really kicking in together. But I actually went with Night of the Creeps.
Yeah.
1986, directed by Fred Decker. Tom Atkins and his freakishly tiny nipples, as we saw in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. They are very small. But I think the beautiful thing about Night of the Creeps is when I think of Halloween, I think of scares, but I think of fun, levity, and something that, fuck this mask, man, is doing my head in already.
Your orifice is getting in the way.
My orifice is sagging as we speak. The poppers are clearly kicking in. So that is a kind of film that I think kind of encaptures both the levity of Halloween, but also the kind of spooks and scares. And also, who doesn't love like leeches that possess jocks and turn up to take their dates on prom night?
Love that. Incredible. And actually, I have slightly cheated with my recommendation because I said do not pick Halloween 1978. But I'm going Halloween 3 Season of the Witch because that is
Tom Atkins,
tiny nipple.
Yeah, and it feels much more like Halloween-y, doesn't it? Like it feels spookier and it feels more of the season, and it's a really fun watch.
It's about Halloween masks, Mike.
Exactly. It's about fancy dress and Halloween mask. Exactly. So I was thinking what's a good thing for us to do, and I wanted to talk about, we're not obviously going to talk about a specific film, so what I thought we'd do this time, we've never done this before, we're going to play a little game. We're going to play a game of kind of horror Room 101. Does anyone know Room 101? That kind of thing where basically a kind of panel show where people pick what they hate about certain movies or about certain whatever, and then the host, or in this case, the host and the audience, get to decide which of these selections goes in Room 101, okay? So We're going to split it into categories, and then each of these guys is going to put forward a case of something that they want to put into room 101, and then we will decide. You guys are going to be my jury. We'll decide whether it should go in there and be banished from the world, okay? So the first category is very simply horror tropes, okay? So I asked all of you guys to come up with one horror trope that you think deserves to go into room 101 and be banished forever. Stevie, what horror trope would you like to get rid of forever?
Okay, I'm going to say forever.
That's how room 101 works.
All right. Well, fuck it. I'm going to say defeat of the villain. I know.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think nowadays we're a little bit better at it, letting an audience, leave feeling really shit and depressed. But there's so many throughout history. You've heard of so many test screenings where audiences have been like really disappointed by the ending because the hero hadn't won and they've gone away and shot it again. This just says a lot about me, okay? Because I'm quite a moody person, but I like to feel something, and I'm always on the killer's side, unless I'm talking about like slashers or monster movies, because there's a safety you feel knowing pretty much how this is going to go. The main person that you're following is probably going to, and it's always like moralistic and there's some sort of metaphor and they have to overcome something, but fuck that. Honestly.
So would you prefer it if the killer won? Like,
yeah,
that's what I mean. Girl, no one survives.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
What about Scream? You're a big fan of Scream, right?
Yeah.
So if Billy Loomis had killed Sidney Prescott in the end, Scream 1 had ended.
Yeah, but with something like that, I'm not necessarily saying something like that because it's nice that we have a different killer each time.
Yeah.
With the Scream franchise. But no, with that, that one, that's fine. That can go through.
Okay.
That's all right. But I'm just talking about changing up a bit more so that we're not constantly knowing where it's going to go. And so I love it. And I don't really want to spoil anything, but there's like 3 films over the last couple of years that were pretty big films. And actually, the endings they really subvert the norm.
Yes.
And the maniac or the killer actually kind of gets the job done. And then no comeuppance. And I'm like, good for you. If you set a goal, finish it. That's what I say.
You're right, actually.
Thank you.
You're right. And there have been a few movies recently, like you said, that have been really fucking mean.
Yeah.
So I've gone, oh yeah, that's actually... Yeah. I quite like it when it goes there.
Yeah.
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 It's good.
I don't want to walk away happy.
No, fair enough. Okay, all right, well, that's good. So the defeat of the villain you're putting forward. All right, Becky, what about you? What are you going to put forward to banish into room 101?
Okay, so mine is... in possession films, when there's like an exorcism or a girl or a kid has been possessed, it's that like cricky limbed, like backwards leaning
contortionist,
like with all of the like angles and stuff. Since The Exorcist, basically every film that has got a possessed kid, or usually a teenage girl, but it's not always a teenage girl, when they get to the point that they are kind of taken over by the devil or the demon or whatever it is that's possessing them,
they suddenly do cartwheels.
They suddenly get the worst case of arthritis you've ever seen in your life. And they contort, they lean backwards, their elbows and their shoulders and everything kind of come out of place. They're creaking all over the place. Sometimes they sort of end up on the ceiling in a sort of in the director's cut of The Exorcist, you get the spider walk. I feel like every director who has ever done a possession film since then has taken that as carte blanche to do that with their possessions. I've got a list. Do you want to hear my list?
Go on.
The Pope's Exorcist, The Last Exorcism, The Last Exorcism 2, Pray for the Devil, Exorcism of Emily Rose, The Possession of Hannah Grace, Ouija, Origin of Evil, The Conjuring 3, and Veronica. These are just some that I looked up their trailers, and every single trailer has cricky-limbed girls in it. I am not saying that these are bad films. I like a lot of these films. Pope's Exorcist, trust me, it's really good. But I am so fucking bored of this trope. We have recently watched what's the amazing one by the director of
When Evil Lurks.
Where Evil Lurks.
Ooh.
When Evil Lurks. So if you want to show a new way of having somebody possessed, watch When Evil Lurks. That is like proper gruey. Like, it's an old man for starters. It's not a teenage girl. It's just this sort of big, like, corpulent, disgusting, pussy mess. It is such an original way of looking at it, and I am bored to death of elbows.
I'm trying to be, as the host, the person that kind of defends these choices, but I can't argue.
I know how much you hate
I
this.
fucking hate it. I hate this trope. I completely agree with you, Becky, of like, oh, girl gets possessed and suddenly she's doing the crab walk or whatever. Like, agreed. Good choice. All right, Brad, what horror trope do you hate that you'd like to put into Room 101?
Allegorical manifestations of grief. I think I might have won this one.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
Go on.
I am sick to fucking death of putting a sad man or woman in the woods and then going through something, but not transcending in any way. Because the problem is, right, this is all Ari Aster and Robert Eggers' fault. They did something very well, and it works brilliantly in Hereditary and all the other shit that they've been doing. However, when you're getting these knockoff clones that are so cheap to produce, because you just get a sad-looking person to go and down the local ranges and, you know, get spooked by a moving twig every 20 to 30 minutes, and at the end, they learn to forgive themselves because they won't take dairy, or whatever the thing that they're going through, the trauma of it all, I've had enough. I want straightforward, at the moment, what I crave, and something even like When Evil Lurks that you've just spoken about, is such a straightforward film because it doesn't really deal with any, underlying subplot, right? The whole point is, there's a fucking possessed thing that looks like the fucking bloater from Left 4 Dead, and then it moves through all these other people. I won't go into any more than that. And there's nothing else behind that. I want straightforward, linear horror stories because I'm done with anyone.
Done with the metaphors.
I'm done with anyone with 10 grand and a fucking dream and access to a desolate house to not make this shit anymore.
I think this kind of trope became really popular maybe with the Babadook, right? That was a kind of grief monster, and then obviously Hereditary. You're kind of erasing movies like Hereditary from existence by doing this, though. How do you feel about that?
Sacrifices must be made.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. And you're absolutely right. Stevie, there was one year, wasn't there, when I remember me, you and Brad all going to watch a bunch of films at a festival, and every single one was somebody being a bit sad in the woods.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, it was for LFF, and I remember we were on about the fourth one of the day, and we didn't know. I won't mention the film, but
Shepherd.
Sat down. Yes, it was Shepherd. It was Shepherd, and we sat down, and the very opening, up on screen came a quote from Dante's Inferno.
Yeah.
We looked at each other.
Fuck this.
Fuck's sake.
Plus, they fucking deserve it because they said you gave it 4 stars when you absolutely didn't.
I know. They put a false quote from us, and I was like, I actually hated that film.
Yes.
Actually, yeah. But yeah, there have been a lot of these. That's a very, very good case to put forward. So we're going to ask the audience now to vote. If you were to pick one of those tropes to remove forever, okay, is it going to be the killer being defeated at the end? Is it going to be creaky-limbed, possessed children? Or is it going to be allegories for grief? How are we going to do this? Let's do it by measure of cheers, right? So, the loudest cheer will go into Room 101. So, first of all, let's go for creaky-limbed children. Yeah, very good. What about the killer being defeated at the end? Ooh, okay. And what about grief allegories?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
He's crushed it.
I think Brad wins that one. I think the allegory horror is dead to us all, isn't it? Yes. It's about time. Okay, fair enough. All right, we're going to play another round of this. This time, your category is, as it is Halloween tonight, the Halloween film franchise. So we've got 13 movies that span 40 plus years. Some we love, some we hate, right? What is it about the Halloween movies that you would love to erase from existence? Stevie?
This is the thing. It's not going to be anything that someone hasn't suggested before, but the family ties.
This is what you said, the Michael Myers family tree.
Yeah. I love the films, and I don't want to lose Jamie Lloyd, but she just doesn't have to be the niece. And I just think, and I'm sure most people agree, the scariest thing about Michael Myers, especially in the first one and the recent ones, is that he's unmotivated, or if he is motivated, we don't know why. And then when they added this, did we mention it's his brother? It's a brother. And they added this whole family thing, and then that's what set off the
franchise. The
shit bomb of the Thorne family, all that cult stuff.
So let's just talk about it for context, in case there is anyone that doesn't know. Because like you said, that original movie, Michael Myers was just a random guy that was killing babysitters, right? And he had no, other than his sister who he kills in the opening scene, he has no relation to Jamie Lee Curtis. She's just a babysitter that he targets. It was the second movie, right,
Yes.
3 years later, that went, oh, actually, these two are brother and sister, and they were separated, and she's adopted. And then it becomes this whole saga throughout the next 5 or 6 sequels, right, where Michael Myers' MO is that he wants to kill his family.
Yeah.
Right? And so suddenly he's got a niece, and he's got a nephew, and he's got a grandchild, and it's like, that's his thing.
Yeah, all the way. And the thing is, what's sad about this is, I guess we'd kind of lose H2O, which I love so much.
Right.
It's one of my absolute favorites. So it's a tough thing to put in there. But I'm not taking away the films that include this, just taking away the actual familial link. And so we can still have H2O. It's just not his sister. Just fuck off with the family thing. It's really, that's it. I think it just takes away so much of what is scary about Michael Myers and his lack or our knowledge of lack of knowledge of his motivation.
It's interesting. I don't know. In its defense, Halloween H2O.
Oh, here we go.
I know, but I can't, I don't know. Becky, what do you think about this? Because that relationship in H2O of Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers, and that whole thing of my brother killed my sister when I was a kid, that's quite a powerful part of that film, right?
I think it's probably the thing that sets up the best Jamie Lee Curtis Halloween. Yeah. I'd be sad to lose that, but at the same time, I can't really argue with a lot of what Stevie's saying because it is nonsense.
Brad, what do you think of this?
But you could reframe H2O as just the one that got away.
Yeah. And just come back for her.
I think, and then still target her son, Josh Hartnett, because he's got to go, isn't he?
Bad hair.
Bad hair. Terrible hair.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe he's just killing people with bad hair or something. I don't know.
I'd watch that.
All right, so there you go. So Michael Myers and his family ties, all right, has been put forward. Becky, what is it about the Halloween franchise you'd like to get rid of?
Mine is the first 15 minutes of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2007.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So again, right?
I have some quotes.
Yeah, let me just... So before you get into the quotes, again, just for context, just in case, right? So the Halloween franchise ran for, 7, 8 films, I think, by this point, and it kind of died a death. And then Rob Zombie...
Rob Zombie.
Genius that he is.
Excellent musician, terrible filmmaker.
Remade Halloween. He rebooted the franchise in 2007, and he made a sequel in 2009. And with his movies, he made them more like Rob Zombie movies, right, rather than Halloween films. They were nastier and scuzzier, and he tried to explain why Michael Myers was the way he was. And there's a whole section, which you'll go into now, right, where the little boy Michael Myers is torturing animals and he's being abused by his parents and all this other stuff. I think fans were not so happy with Rob Zombie's attempts at Halloween films, right?
Edgelord Rob Zombie tries to explain why Michael is Michael. And as I think a lot of us understand, one of the most terrifying things about iconic killers is that you don't know why they're doing it. And what happened with things like Cult of Thorne and things like that with Halloween, it really gave Michael far too much of a backstory. And what Rob Zombie had the opportunity to do and completely missed was to strip it back and take it back to just Michael kills because he's Michael, right? And he completely whiffed it and decided to give him this big backstory about this terrible sort of abusive home. And now there's some of this stuff that could have landed slightly more convincingly in the first 15 minutes of Halloween 2007. And I'm sorry if nobody's seen it, because I know this is really niche, but there's stuff that could have landed more convincingly if he'd cast actors who could act. I'm going to read you a couple of little quotes. Now, this is stuff that's going to sound unbelievably hilarious in my home county's accent, so you're welcome. Bitch, I will crawl over there and I will skull fuck the shit out of you. Fuck you. Sit it on my pole right now, bitch. Man, that bitch got herself a nice little dumper.
I'm just gonna isolate these audio clips for I can't wait.
Yeah.
Carry on.
This is going to be my new
this is how you get cancelled.
This is my new text alert tone on his phone. That little freak of yours needs some discipline. He runs around like a little bitch. He's probably a Q word homophobic slur. So it's like he has basically taken all of his most crass and hideous and ridiculously dumb dialogue options and just gone, first draft, first take, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. It is so bad, and it massively undermines anything that Michael Myers should be, and it makes me very cross, and I would like to cancel it, please.
So funny, because a very good case, by the way. Yeah, and it's so funny when you compare it to the original Halloween written by Deborah Hill and those teenage girls and the way they're like, oh, I forgot my maths book and my geography book.
Totally.
And like you say, suddenly it's like, I'll skull fuck the shit out of you and stuff. It's like, wow, what has happened to the Halloween franchise?
Where's Jamie when we need her?
Yeah, fair enough. That's a good one. And finally, Bradley, what would you like to get rid of from the Halloween franchise?
David Gordon Green.
Yes!
We 2 for 2, maybe.
David Gordon Green, so Rob Zombie, again, just to provide some context, Rob Zombie made his 2 awful Halloween movies in 2007 and 2009 and basically killed the franchise dead, right? We didn't get any more Halloween movies for another decade. And then there was suddenly this, hope. Oh my God. Blumhouse are resurrecting Halloween. They're going to bring it back to basics. They're going to ignore everything that happened for the last 40 years, and it's going to continue on from the first movie. Jamie Lee Curtis is coming back. It's going to go back to the shape and being scary, and it's going to be directed by David Gordon Green, and it's going to be a trilogy, right? So
that went well, didn't it? So, if you're going to take one of the most cherished and beloved horror properties, you're going to give it to the man that made Mud and Prince Avalanche,
Pineapple
and Your Highness, and that fucking shit. So I saw the first Halloween, and this isn't a flex, it's context. I went to TIFF and I got to see the world premiere of it at Toronto in whenever the fuck it came out. And I definitely had what's known as rose-tinted glasses, because I think the first Halloween film is at least serviceable. I think it does what it needs to do, and it sets up a lore and a mythology. My issue more so is with Kills and Ends, because Kills has obviously the mantra of Evil Dies Tonight, the live, laugh, love of horror mantras. And, David Gordon Green's fascination with setting things in fucking hospitals for an obscenely large amount of runtime kicks in. So I thought, I can't get any worse than that. Ends is coming along, and then we wholesale rip off Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Dead, with this kind of new boy. I don't want the new boy. I'm not interested in this new boy. Fuck that guy. Exactly. And we're seeing the damage that he's now doing with The Exorcist. I think we can all agree someone needs to stop him.
People are shouting, make him stop in the audience.
Yes. Yeah. He needs to go back to his twee indie fucking dramas, leave horror well enough alone. and leave Michael to someone in more capable hands.
Well, do you know what? I'm gonna put like.
Here we go. He fucking. It's only because he always lets him interview him.
Yeah, it's true. Me and Dave, we go way back. But I know Becky's with me on this. I don't know about you, Stevie. Halloween Ends. That whole storyline where it basically forgot it was a Halloween film and it became about this teenage boy called Corey. There are literal groans in the audience.
We're going to have walkouts.
Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah, right.
I loved it. I thought it was so good.
Yeah. In some ways, I think David Gordon Green is better when he's trying not to make a Halloween film. You know, like it's when he then tries to make it a Halloween film in the second half of that, when it becomes about Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers, it's pretty bad, right? David Gordon Green is very good at doing this kind of nostalgia trip, isn't he? Like, oh, here comes the John Carpenter score, and here's the font from the original title. And he does that in The Exorcist Believer too, doesn't he? He's like, here comes the tubular bells, and here's the font, and here are like throwbacks to the
lazy.
It's true. It's about the font, isn't it?
Font service.
And so I think it's like his font service. It's like you said, Brad, when you first see it at TIFF, and you're all excited and you go, oh my God, yes, this is what I loved about that original film. But then actually when you
I was really there for the font, yeah.
When you think about it for more than 5 minutes and you look at the writing, you go, oh, actually, yeah,
pretty whiff.
it's not good, is it? It's not good. All right. Actually, I want to open this up to the audience as well. Let's have a fourth option. Is there anything else in the Halloween franchise that someone out there thinks deserves to be removed forever and put into Room 101?
Hello, this is Mike from the future, just inserting one of the audience questions because the microphones did not pick it up. Friend of the pod, Alex Ayling, suggested getting rid of Tyra Banks and the coffee machine from Halloween Resurrection.
Is it because she froths the milk wrong? What's the issue? Right.
All right, we'll throw that into the mix.
I don't think that's going to win, Alex, I'll be honest.
So, we've got another hand up here. Yeah, go on.
The decision to have 4 be the return of Michael Myers, make it an anthology.
Oh, don't bottle it. You're saying don't bottle it. Stick to guns.
This is one I could get behind, because actually if I was going to suggest one, it would be Michael Myers. Full stop. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Make the Halloween franchise not about fucking Michael Myers anymore. He is by definition a man that is a blank slate, has nothing to him, does not warrant 13 films. He warranted 1 film, right? And I think get rid of all the others. And I agree with you. You make a good point that this Halloween franchise could have become an anthology series, right? As well. It could have been a different story each time. I love that. All right, well, let's put all of these to the test. Let's see. And we'll go by the loudest cheer. Okay, so I've forgotten now what everyone says. The family ties.
Myers family ties.
Michael Myers family ties. That's a popular choice. Okay, what about Rob Zombie's Halloween? I'm going to throw it over to Tyra Banks and the Cappuccino Machine.
More than I expected.
I'm going to throw it over here to every Halloween sequel that was about Michael Myers.
Yes!
Okay.
I think that's the best one so far. Okay, and then finally, David Gordon Green. Oh! We've got some defenders. Incredible.
I lost to a cappuccino.
And that... I love that. It's because you've already had a point. We're making it even, all right? Yeah. Tell us your name.
Niels.
Niels, I believe you are the winner of that round. Congratulations. Michael Myers goes into Room 101. Incredible. Get rid of him. I love it. Okay.
That's wild.
Okay. Final round, and this is in fitting with the podcast, all right? Obviously, on this podcast, we love to talk about different subgenres of horror. Which subgenre of horror would you get rid of forever, okay? And I will come to the audience as well, so have a little think about what you might want to get rid of. But let's begin with our panel. Stevie, what subgenre would you remove?
Werewolves.
Werewolves!
Oh, come on. They're the most... the most boring, hairy, boring bastards. There is nothing. I know it's unfortunate. We'll have to lose The Howling and American Werewolf in London, but that's it. There are no others.
Ginger snaps, dog soldiers.
No, they're fine, but I fucking hate them so much because the thing is, at least with vampires, which I also hate, once they're doing their thing, they've still got some personality and something about them. The thing is with most werewolves is they, oh God, it's happening, and then they turn into a fucking puppet or an animal. And then they go off and then they just slash. I just find it so incredibly boring. And every single one is about the struggle of something, and it's something. What are they hiding inside? Am I queer? Oh, maybe, and then
allegories.
Oh, let this transformation represent that. Oh, I can't come to terms with it. It's so boring.
Wow. Do you know what? I know what you mean, because there are obviously one or two incredible werewolf movies. There are. And I've thought about this a lot because people always ask me, when are you going to do like a whole series of werewolf movies? But actually...
I'll block you if you do that.
There's only about 5 really good ones, isn't there? It's tricky. I don't know. What do you guys think? Becky, you seem quite defensive of that choice. Are you a fan?
No, I'm defensive of ginger snaps and dog soldiers.
Okay. Yeah. Just those two.
Yeah.
You're not that fussed about werewolf movies generally.
No, generally.
Brad, what do you think of werewolf films?
I mean, if you did do a season, we get to my also rounds pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I'd have the pick of the litter.
A lot of not good stuff. Very good. It's hard to pull off a convincing werewolf, Stevie, as well, isn't it? I think that's the other thing. Is like, is it a puppet? Is it like a man?
It's a puppet. Yeah, that's the thing. The transformation is always great, and then it's like afterwards when they're transformed, and it's like, oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
So good to see Stevie training the boards again.
It's true.
It's a excellent choice. All right, so werewolf movies, first of all. Becky, what subgenre would you erase?
Clown movies.
I
don't get it. Okay, so from a personal point of view, they're very scary, but I like being scared. That's why I like horror films. People who don't like horror films, and I'll often be like, oh, I'm a horror movie nerd, and they're like, oh, but don't you get scared? I'm like, yeah, that's the point, like, genuinely. And of course I get scared. That's literally why I watch them.
So why don't you love clown movies?
Then there's this situation, and it's too much. It's too much for me. And also, I've never seen... Now, okay, I also have the small problem that I haven't seen a lot of clown films because I'm really scared of them, and so I don't have a huge, knowledge of them. But I've seen like It, both of them, and the original one with Tim Curry. Very, very disturbing. And then there's other ones that I haven't seen, and I was very brave, again, and spent some time on Google looking up clown films, and there's a few of them. There's one called Stitches.
Yeah, with Ross Noble.
Terrifier, never seen them. I can't even...
Amityville Clown.
That sounds awful.
Clown House.
We're not talking about Clown House.
Clown House was made by a paedophile, just for context.
Chill, like really chill. I mean, it's okay. So it's like you asked me for a personal room 101, and my personal room 101 is I really want to get rid of clown films because they're horrible and clowns really scare me. And
do you not ever? So this fear of clowns that you have is so deep that even that kind of love of horror and love of being scared doesn't intrigue you a little?
No.
Doesn't make you think?
No.
Let me embrace that fear and watch a scary clown.
No, it was like when we were at Fall at Fright Fest, and I've also got vertigo. I'm a woman of many layers.
And Fall is a movie where two people crawl up a tower, and it's just Vertigo the movie, basically. Apart from not Vertigo.
It's just James Stewart on top of a big tower looking at a woman.
It's Fear of Heights, the movie. It's pretty horrible.
It's an interesting question. It is an interesting question because my argument is I like to be scared, but I like to be scared within my own confines and within my own sort of comfort zones. Serial killers, couldn't care less. Dinosaurs, I don't care. Werewolves, fine. But clowns, bad times, really bad times. And I like to feel the kind of exhilaration and the adrenaline of being scared and watching horror when I can kind of put all of my day-to-day anxieties into what's happening on screen. I can't do that if it's something that I'm genuinely scared of. And so I'm genuinely scared of clowns. And so if I was going to get rid of anything, it would be that.
Fair enough. Stevie, as a man dressed as a clown who also is scared of clowns, how do you feel about clown movies?
Oh, I love them, but in the same way that I love being terrified, and it's different to Becky. So I'm terrified of two things massively, and it's clowns and sharks. Okay, and I will seek out shark films because I know it's going to terrify me, but I'm not going to fucking jump in the ocean. And I will seek out clown films, but I'm not going to go to the circus. And so I don't want to see them in real life, and so I enjoy really because I think I'm the amount of shit that I watch, it gets harder and harder to actually scare me. And so I have to go into the sort of deep recesses of some sort of childhood trauma that I haven't dealt with yet to do with clowns. And
why are you scared of clowns?
Well, okay, here we go.
Here we go. Settle in.
Don't worry, it's not like dodgy. There's no so I was staying with my friend. This is when I was little. I think I was about 9 or 10. And I was staying with him and his parents, and guess what? The circus was in town. And so his parents took us to see the circus, and we were watching everything, all the, the little people doing the little things up on the thing, and the rah-rah and jumping through things. And then this car came on, this little car, and then a couple of clowns got out, and then more. And I was fine with clowns at this point, and then 10 got out, and my brain was going, well, that doesn't make any sense, And I was so I already had anxiety just about mathematics and science. And then they did their little thing. They were squirting people in the face and pointing at people. Do you see what I mean? It's so fucked up.
It is. When you describe it, it does sound fucking weird, doesn't it?
It's a bunch of middle-aged men get out of a car and then start squirting you in the face. Like, what the fuck is that about? And so
I've seen that.
That's movie. A grinder day gone wrong.
I've seen that movie.
Yeah, and so then the main clown, he was kind of scanning the room, looking for a volunteer.
I wish I hadn't asked.
Looking for a volunteer, and what he meant by that was, I'm going to take a child from the audience. It's so fucked up. Again, every time I say something, I can hear it, and it just sounds so weird. And I was just thinking, don't stop on me. And so eventually, of course, he pointed and went, and in my head, he went, you. But I don't think he did. I think he just went, you there, or something stupid. And I did the whole, I think, darling, he's talking to you. Yeah. Talking to my friend's mum. And then he was like, no, you. And so he started to walk towards me. And this is a perfect example, actually. And so as he got closer, he just stepped in front of the light. And so he became a complete silhouette. And he disappeared in front of my eyes. This clown just went woof, into complete blackness, and I can see his stupid hat and his stupid fucking flower coming out of it. And then he obviously was getting closer and closer. And then just as he got inches from me, he hit a bit of light again. So his face just came into light, inches away from me. Came into colour.
Yeah.
And the next thing I knew, I woke up and there was people fanning me, and I
really?
Yeah, I passed out. I passed. Should we try it? Should I do it to someone?
Who's afraid of clowns?
And so that's where it comes from. And so, yeah, I think I seek out that trauma. I think it's my way of dealing with it. And so I love watching, Killer Clowns from Outer Space isn't scary, but it's so much fun. Yes, thank you. But all of those truly horrible clown films where it is not clowns like I'm dressed up, evil clowns. It's just, as I said, normal people with face paint on.
Yeah.
No matter what they're doing with their face, it will always look like they're smiling at you, and they're not.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I love getting the fear from it. But as I said, I'm not going to go near enough. If I see a clown on the street, like a party clown, I will start to black out.
Like someone will have this experience with you.
Yeah.
Walking through Angel.
But that's the long answer.
Yeah, I love it. I love 2 excellent cases.
My answer's Doctor Who. The end.
Yeah, I love that. All right, so there you go. So clown movies very much in the mix. Bradley, what is the subgenre you'd like to get rid of?
I'm about to get roasted over the fucking coals for this.
Am I going to have to turn your microphone off?
Yeah, I think this is it. I'll keep it short and sweet because you're not going to pick mine. It's folk horror movie.
Ba ba ba.
This hurts me. It hurts me.
This man.
Brad, I'm listening. Go on.
No, listen, right. Now, obviously, I've built my entire identity about a remake of a famous folk horror movie. The whole reason anyone...
Brad's entire personality.
Yeah, I literally have Nicolas Cage tattooed on my arm because of that stupid joke. But then if I got rid of folk horror movies, it wouldn't be on my arm anymore.
No. And of course, again, just to explain, Bradley is, for some reason, really into the remake of The Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
It's more of a joke.
So much so that he has it tattooed on his arm.
I do. Yeah.
The Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage is, for me, the one reason that I would support putting horror.
However, I'm about to drag Blood and Satan's Claw and all the other shit in there. Listen, the past should stay dead, is my argument. I'll keep it short and sweet because we've obviously gone into Stevie's trauma story, which I honestly found so engaging.
You allowed your own trauma story, Bradley.
Well, I'm not frightened of
Was it the story about your willy coming out in front of Becky?
Well,
That was your trauma story already.
She reminded me of Britt Eklund.
Let's just keep going.
Yeah,
let's just keep going.
Let's keep digging this grave. I don't like them. I don't connect with them. I don't find them interesting or engaging in any way. I know I'm in the majority. I know I'm not going to win this round. That's fine.
What about that amazing kind of those movies about kind of people wandering into these kind of creepy villages and locals that kind of all sinister and there's that kind of building dread. Like, are you not invested in?
I just wouldn't go there. I'd just go to the normal places where normal people go, like Clacton-on-Sea. Oh no, not there. That was the only racist place.
We've made jokes about, you prefer the Wicker Man remake, but what are
It's not a joke.
No, but like what don't you like about the original Wicker Man? I can't understand why people don't like the original Wicker Man.
It's too much of a fucking musical. It's like 2 steps away from being the fucking Muppets. Every fucking 5 minutes there's a fucking new little fucking jingle, and I'm sick of it. It's boring. And then it doesn't get interesting really until the last 10 minutes. And in my version, Nicolas Cage keeps screaming about bees. And Edward Woodward's just like, oh no, oh Lord, oh Jesus Christ! Like it's
okay. What about the Blair Witch Project? Oh my gosh!
You know what I mean?
I can't believe I'm hearing this. All right,
wait. I would say that's found footage, not folk horror.
Okay. What about Robert Eggers' The Witch?
I'm not that arsed, to be honest. You know I'm not a big fan of that. I could take it or leave it. I don't like it when they talk like, privy here comes. Confuses me. I don't understand.
We're out into this wilderness stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So there we go. So we've got folk horror, clown movies, and werewolf movies. Would anyone else like to put forward a subgenre of horror they would like to get rid of? Oh, vampire movies. That was Peter in the corner, right? Hi, Peter. Tell us why you'd like to get rid of vampire movies. Yeah, there's a lot of like romance and melodrama, isn't there, with vampire movies? What do you guys think? Stevie, are you a fan of vampire movies?
No, not at all.
No? Okay.
No. Well, it's very similar to the werewolf thing.
Yeah, not into it. Becky?
Some good, some bad. I mean, Interview with a Vampire, Bram Stoker's Dracula, From Dusk Till Dawn. I'm a big fan, but a lot of them, I agree.
Take or leave.
Yeah.
Brad?
Yeah, they suck.
Wow, there you go. Oh my God, I love it. All right, well, there you go. Does anyone want to make any more cases for any other subgenres before we wrap up? No? Okay, so we're going to put those 4 forward. So let's begin with werewolf movies. Who would like to put werewolf movies into Room 101? That's good. That's a lot of support. A lot of support for werewolf movies. What about clown movies?
Don't worry. There's going to be a hushed silence in just a second.
Folk horror.
Love that enthusiasm.
I think so far werewolves have got it, but let's finish with vampire movies.
It's werewolves.
All right, there you go. That's it. We will remove werewolf movies from the horror genre. See you. Congratulations, Stevie. And there you go. We are out of time nearly already. We've got about 5 minutes left. If anyone, we would love to just hear from you guys. If anyone has any questions, we've probably got time for one or two. Please do raise your hand if you've got comments, if you've got questions for any of our panel, anything you like, feel free to raise your hand. We can pass a mic out. We have one question over here from listener Steve. I'm going to pass you a microphone.
Thank you very much.
I just long-time listener, big fan. I've known you guys for a long time. I really appreciate, the evolution of horror and everything it's done. My community is brought together. I'm not a member of a PR team, but I've made such good friends through it. I've also met the love of my life.
Yeah. Through it.
Woo!
And on that note,
Joe Oliver. Will you marry me? So that was a yes.
Holy shit, this is incredible. Congratulations, Steve and Joe.
We knew that was happening.
That is beautiful. I acted all shocked, but I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
We knew.
But I honestly could not be happier for you guys. Steve and
We
Joe,
love you guys so much.
Steve and Joe have been, and am I right in thinking, I'm not taking all, credit for this, but am I right in thinking you guys kind of met through the podcast?
Yeah, you know it.
Yeah.
Don't try and be innocent.
Oh my God, this is incredible. Guys, this is incredible.
This is incredible.
Mazel tov.
Thank God she said yes.
Yeah,
because otherwise I was going to have to do something to detract.
it could have been a really downbeat ending.
Brad was going to get his knob out again.
Yeah, everyone laugh.
Amazing. Well, I mean, we can't top that. We're going to have to end it there. That was absolutely perfect. Guys, thank you so much for coming. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much to Grimfest, and that's Grimfest with one M. It's different to the Grimfest.
Oh, the other one.
Yeah. Thank you so much to Grimfest and the Old Red Lion Theatre for having us. Thank you to everyone who came along tonight. We're going to be downstairs in the pub, I'm sure, after this. So please come and hang with us, chat to us if you can. And one more time, a huge thank you to my incredible panel and their incredible costumes. Stevie Webb, Becky and I, and Brad Hanson. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Congratulations. Thanks. Happy Halloween.
And there we go. That's it for our Halloween special. Thank you so much for listening. Hope the sound quality was okay. Hope you guys were able to enjoy that discussion, because it was a hell of a fun discussion. And again, thank you to everyone that came along and watched us at the Old Red Lion Theatre. And congratulations to EOH listeners Steve and Joe on their engagement. How incredible. A proposal to finish off our Halloween celebrations. It couldn't have been more perfect. Thank you so much for listening, and join us again next week for another episode of The Evolution of Horror.